Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse here, and I am back for hopefully a quick video, bonus video for you guys on the Game Awards 2020. I thought about streaming it earlier. I'm recording this right after the show, essentially. But I had some stuff that I wanted to get done, had to get done kind of toward the beginning of the show. And so I kind of lost track of time, and by the time I really got situated, it was kind of started. And so I really just wanted to, if I did stream, get that done ahead of time. And it was a really long show. It was what until about 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock here, and it started at 5. So it was like a 4 hour show almost. So it was nice to be able to kind of, if there's a little break for an ad or something, I could just get up and stretch, get a drink of water, use the bathroom, whatever. But the Game Awards show has definitely improved. I remember back when it was on Spike TV, and they really had to kind of bow down to, well, this is what it should be for television, and we have to have all these like stupid jokes and performances and ads and just it was not very good in the beginning, but he's taken it somewhere. The one thing that I will say that I kind of noticed all throughout the show, and this has always sort of been a thing, I think Jeff Keighley did a really good job this year, and he has been doing a good job. But it's an award show, but in a way, it almost seems like the awards are secondary to all of the world premiere like game premiere videos, unveilings, update videos, and all of that kind of stuff. Because they did a few awards where they would let the winners speak and give a little bit more time to them. But there were several of them. I mean, even they had a little pre-show for about a half an hour, and they rattled off about 5 or 6 awards there. And then they did, they did that a lot where they would just be like, the nominees are blah, 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 blah. The winner is blah, 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 blah. And then boom, congratulations, moving on to the next exclusive trailer or whatnot. So, I mean, granted, most award shows, like I really could care less about like, the music awards or Grammys or I don't even know what all the awards are for TV and movies and such, but like, the Oscars and everything, they're boring. And I just generally don't follow that media as much. But yeah, so I get wanting to keep the hype up and everything. But I think it was a decent balance. But like I said, it was kind of funny that the awards almost kind of felt like they took a back seat to, they must have had like 30 or better exclusive reveal trailers for new games and updates to games and just all kinds of weird announcements and stuff like that. And we're going to go through some of the highlights. We're not going to go through all of them, but I have a few of them written down here that I just will cover, give my thoughts on. And we're going to wrap up with something a little special, but you will have to wait for that. Before I go any further, as I mentioned in one of my update videos a month or so ago, I have another tab open here, and this was just a really cool thing. This is the page for all of the jury members. You have these different categories for the Game Awards, judging the different categories. And we have new this year, this innovation in accessibility category. And I remember somebody posting this on Twitter, and I had to like take a screenshot and just save it to my photo library, just because it just sounded so cool. Like it was just an honor to be a part of it, to be asked to be a part of it. But there you go, illegally cited Jesse Anderson, and I am amongst great company here. I recognize the vast majority of other names on here. And it's people with all disabilities. It's not just vision impairment or blindness. There's a wide variety of people. I follow most of these people, probably if not all of them, on Twitter. They stream, they do YouTube, they're advocates or stuff like that. So they there's a good cross section of people that were chosen for this category, and it's just cool to, I don't know, it was just a really cool experience for me. So yeah, again, thank you to Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards for the invitation to be a part of that. That was really, really cool. Had to show you that. What we're looking at here is the just something to look at, something different. The Game Awards Festival. It is on Steam, and it is also on GeForce Now, which I have yet to try. That is another game streaming service which I should really try. I'm not sure if it supports my video card. I don't know if you have to have a 10 series or later for that to work. I have to look into it. But, I've covered Stadia. I've covered Luna. I really should cover GeForce Now in some form just to kind of try them out and see how they work. So this is where kind of like, the Steam thing, the Xbox event earlier this year that I streamed, they have some demos available of some of the current and upcoming games. So if there's something interesting in there, I will definitely take a look at that. So I'm going to probably try to take a look at some demos this weekend. But they started with this Super Smash Bros. Reveal. They teased on Twitter, I saw, new character was going to be added to Smash. And of course, outside of the Mario and Nintendo universe, we've been having guest characters for a while. Sephiroth from the Final Fantasy series in Smash Bros. I'm sure people are totally losing their mind over that. I'm not really a Smash player just because it's really hard to see. So I'm not really too excited about that. But hey, I'm sure a lot of people are. Evil West. I don't know. This seems to be like a third-person action-y shooter thing. It kind of reminds me, there was a game on the original Xbox called Dark Watch. It was a kind of first-person shooter, but it was this weird like combination of Wild West and vampires and stuff. So you were like this Wild West dude, and you fought all these monsters and stuff, and it was a kind of a neat game. And I'm kind of getting that sort of a vibe from this. So Evil West sounds like a pretty cool thing. I've never known about that game before. Oh yeah, and these are random. These are not in order. These are just things that I found or remembered. So I'm not a Fortnite fan, but I am a Red vs. Blue fan and a Halo fan. So they're adding, they have all these guest characters again, just like the Mortal Kombat games do, where you have these guest characters. They had Kratos not long ago. Master Chief is going to be in as of tonight. And tomorrow morning you're going to be able to play the classic Blood Gulch map from Halo and the setting for the original Red vs. Blue series. That's still a really dumb but really funny series. You can watch them digitally. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on any kind of streaming service. They use the Halo game engine to create the series, especially in the beginning before they really got high tech and went all animated on us. But it was a really cool machinima, as they call it. And they did that a little bit for the unveil. They had Sarge and Griff from the Red Team. And it was kind of amusing. So kudos to that. Oh yes, they also had some live performances. They had the symphony play some Mario medley tunes for the 35th anniversary for Super Mario Brothers, which was really nice, really cool. Reminded me of that Symphony of the Goddesses concert I've gone to in 2 different forms now. Very, very fun, very cool. But they also had Eddie Vedder play from good old Pearl Jam. He played one of the songs that was heavily featured in The Last of Us Part 2. It really had a meaning between Ellie and Joel's story. And yeah, he did a really good job with it. So that was actually quite good. Oh yes, early on, Perfect Dark. We knew this was rumored for a while. And I love the original Perfect Dark. I even did a spotlight video for the Xbox remastered version. Perfect Dark Zero, Xbox 360 launch game. Wanted it to be cool, but really didn't like it that well. I never did finish it. They really didn't show any gameplay. It was just kind of a cinematic thing. But, we know it's a real thing now. And it's one of those big titles that Microsoft has now. People complaining that they don't have games. That's a big one that a lot of people might be excited for. I'm curious to see what it's going to be. So, looking forward to Perfect Dark and seeing what that is. They ended with a Mass Effect teaser. We already found out about a month ago that a remastered trilogy is coming pretty soon, early next year. I want to say like February next year or something like that. But they're titling their new game just Mass Effect, I guess. And I don't know if it's like a reboot or reimagining or whatnot. Again, no gameplay, just a really kind of a teaser. I want to get excited, but BioWare is going through some changes, and their last couple of games haven't been very good. Like, I tried that demo of Andromeda and never really picked up the full game. Anthem was a disaster. A couple of people, big people, that headed the studio. There's been quite a few people that have left, especially even a couple within the last week or two. So, I don't know. I mean, I really want to like this game, but I'm going to kind of hold my excitement until we really get to see more and learn more about the actual gameplay. Potential is there because I love me some Mass Effect. 1 and 2 were fantastic. 1 had its interface issues. It was a little jank, but 2 was excellent. 3 was pretty great, except for the ending was kind of botched, but that's a whole other issue. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Mass Effect. Glad to see that might be thriving. And they did also announce we knew there was a Dragon Age 4, but they had a kind of a cinematic, again, no gameplay, but just kind of a cinematic teaser for that. So they had Dragon Age as well. It Takes Two was a really weird game. I forget the guy's name, but one of the head developers of the studio, he made, what was it called, A Way Out, where it was this like prison break, crime escape thing where you played as 2 separate players at the same time, and you had to play 2 players co-op to get through. It was a really neat idea, but I never really did get to play it. This one's along a similar line. You're doing a cooperative game, but it's all cartoony. And it's like this, I don't really know exactly what the heck was going on. They had this, they're almost these like cartoon characters and all these like action scenes and mini games and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it was about this, this guy and girl, and they have to, they're, I guess, not doing well in their relationship, and they're going through these like challenges, and they have to learn, they have to kind of really get back together. So there's kind of a love aspect to it, which could be kind of interesting. So that was, I don't know, that could be an interesting thing, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to play that either, depending on who I have to play it with. Returnal. I think this was a new one. I don't think I've heard of this one before, or if I have, I don't remember. Returnal seems to be sort of like an action game. But this lady, she keeps like repeating, like waking. There was like a first person part, and then there was like a third person part. It was really actiony, kind of like I don't know if it's like an action horror type of thing, but it looked intriguing. It's definitely one I will at least kind of keep on my radar and see if there's more gameplay that I can find out. I love the Warhammer Vermintide games. I've played 1 and 2. I've done spotlights for those on the channel. I've streamed Vermintide 1 and 2. Riley and I have streamed it when she was up here. So they're having a new game. It's not so much the medieval ones, but it's more the futuristic Warhammer 40,000. So there's Warhammer, and then there's the Warhammer 40,000, which is the like futuristic. They got mechs, they got guns, and they got all sorts of things like that. So this one's almost more of like it's going to be more of like a Left 4 Dead type thing, because you will have melee, but you will also have guns and such, that it looks like. So Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. Definitely looking forward to seeing what that is like, because I definitely love those games, especially if they have AI to play with, which, judging by the first two, I would hope that that trend would continue. So huzzah. Evil Dead. That was a surprise that sort of came out of nowhere. There has been some Evil Dead games in the past. They've been, I played the one on the Dreamcast. It was like a Resident Evil kind of wannabe game. Kind of jank. There's been a few other ones that haven't really hit very well. It has potential. They had the original voice actors in for the game. So, of course, you got to have the master there. So Bruce Campbell, he's definitely a part of it. It's one that I am cautiously hopeful that it will be a fun kind of action-y horror game. Kind of curious to see what that's going to be like. Oh yes, they're doing a remake of Ghouls and Ghosts, or Ghosts and Goblins, I should say, which, I like the idea of the games, but they were extremely frustrating and difficult. These 2D platformers, Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghosts and Goblins. That one will be one that I will watch from the sidelines, watch other people play, because it looks neat, but I suck at those games horribly bad. So probably not going to be on my radar. But what is going to be on my radar is Capcom Arcade Stadium. Forgot the release date, didn't see what the release date was for it. But everyone's kind of doing their classic arcade compilations, and I say bring them on. Bring them to modern consoles. Bring them to Switch. I can play them on Steam. I could play them portably on the go. Not quite sure what all games are going to be in there, but I'm very interested to do some more research to find that out, because, yeah, Capcom, man, Konami and Capcom in the 80s and 90s, they were killing it. So, yeah, bring it on. I'd just say bring it on. We already have the Capcom beat 'em up bundle. So, yeah, bring on some more Capcom. Sounds good to me. Ark 2. I've wanted to try Ark Survival Evolved. I grabbed it when it was in early access on sale. And I think I briefly took a look at it like one time and just got intimidated with it. But they had a big old trailer, pretty long trailer actually, for Ark 2. And of all things, Vin Diesel is a character in it. There's him and this younger girl that they're trying to survive these Land of the Dinos. And I don't know, I know Ark is big on multiplayer, but I think there's like a single player component, and I'm curious what the single player component for Ark 2 might be. I don't know. I mean, that's going to be more of like a wait and see. It might pique my interest kind of a game down the road, but we'll see. Outriders. I forget exactly what that is. I just saw the trailer in the listing. It looks to be some kind of like an action-y game, if I remember correctly. And it caught my attention. I just wrote it down because I remember it did catch my attention. So it's something that I might kind of want to look into. I wish I could remember more about that, but I can't. Oh yeah, the one part of the show, like I said, overall, the Game Awards was pretty good. It was really long, but they had a lot of content in there. And they would have a few guests presenting the different awards, and then they would have, just, a few performers and everything. And for their announcement for the Overcooked series, the one kind of derpy part was they had this goofy, he's done like Elf and Back to the Future characters from other events, but this one he did the Swedish Chef kind of came in because they're adding the Swedish Chef character to Overcooked, which makes sense if they're adding it, but yeah, just the whole kind of derp derp derp, just the way he talks and everything. Like, I don't know. Maybe if you're into Muppets more, you probably found that more hilarious, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of derpy. I mean, at least it made sense for what they were announcing. It wasn't just, oh, remember this random thing from like the 70s or 80s? I got a kick mainly because I loved the character in the 80s, but when he did Elf for the summer game festival thing, I got a kick out of that. And then they had Doc Brown from Back to the Future for something earlier this year. So, yeah, he gets some interesting surprise guests in there. What else? Crimson Desert. This one I knew nothing about, but it looks pretty cool. Not totally sure what the game is like. Seems open world. Seems actiony, but I'm kind of intrigued. This is one that I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. I think it's for PlayStation 5. I don't know if it's coming to other platforms or PC, but it is one that really kind of did catch my attention just with like the style and the gameplay. It is one that I do want to learn more about. Crimson Desert. Disco Elysium. In March of next year, I guess they're coming out with kind of the final cut, or kind of their director's cut, final cut version of the game. And they really said, this is an RPG. It's kind of this isometric RPG. Everyone has kind of been raving about it, but they're adding more stuff to it. They're polishing some things up. And all of the characters in the game are fully voiced. They actually said that in their little trailer for their new version. So, I don't know. Like I said, I have to look into what the original game is. If it's a good story, depending on what style, I don't know if it's like a point and clicky thing or if it's like a turn-based tactics thing. But I mean, just the whole accessibility wise, like, oh, all the characters are voiced, so I can actually enjoy the story a lot more. Again, maybe it's something that I could explore down the road once the final cut of that comes out. Season. This one, I don't really know what it is. It seems to be like a third-person-y something. But they were talking about like, oh, my great-grandfather or great-grandparents, they had like 100 years of freedom, and my parents had 100 years, but we only get one season, so I don't know if there's like some calamity that is coming, and I don't know if they're going to have to like save the world, or if the world is just going to like end and you have to choose how you use your remaining time. That's kind of the gist that I'm getting just from the vibe and the narration of the trailer. So, like I said, I'm not quite sure if it's more of like an exploration adventure game, character driven kind of a deal. But the premise alone just makes me interested in what the title could be. So that might be one to look out for. Season. FIST, and I forget what that stands for. That's another kind of an action game that I didn't get a whole lot of. There was some gameplay there, but I would like to learn more about that because the action looked pretty fun. Open Roads. This was one that is from the company that made, what was it? I believe it was the one who made like Gone Home and Firewatch and, what's the space one? Chris and I were just talking about it about a month ago. I did a video on it, but they're kind of just, they're slower story exploration games, and I really am starting to dig those. So especially from that company, I'm very intrigued to see. I guess it's some mother-daughter. They're on a road trip, and it's like an animated. It's not realistic style. It's animated. But like the character's grandmother died and had some secrets or something, and like since her grandmother's gone or something, she can't tell. So her and her mother set out on this road trip to figure out some kind of secret or mystery or something. And I'm just given the way they've told stories before, I'm intrigued to see what that is going to be like. So yeah, Open Roads. Oh, Celestial Protocol. The Celestial Protocol. This one was early on in the show, and I think that was the one where I got some Dead Space vibe from it, and that's a good thing. They're basically saying that they want to make the just scariest game. They want to make you basically crap your pants, just really scary, kind of a third-person-y, dark game. It definitely looks like it has potential. They really didn't show gameplay, but what they showed of just the whole style and the mood for it looked like, again, it looked like it could be pretty good. There was a good combination of gameplay trailers and like reveal trailers. There was a lot of actual reveal trailers and a lot of new franchises. I was really glad to see, actually, now that I think about it. I was glad to see that it wasn't just like, oh, Halo 5 and Gears 7 and, all these different things, just sequels to games that we've already, because then we already know what they're going to be pretty much. A lot of the games that were coming are new. They're by new developers, or they're start of a new franchise, or there's some one-off game. But yeah, it sounds like, with the start of this new generation here, there was a lot of like sequels and remasters and retreads in the last generation. But I think they're really starting to kind of go towards some new types of content again, new franchises, new games and stuff, which is good. I like to see some kind of new life being breathed into games and such. Let's see. Dragon Age 4, I already mentioned that. So those were a lot of the games that I could remember. There were more. There was some mobile stuff. There was, I know there was other ones. Oh, Fall Guys Season 3. I still haven't even played Season 2. I played Fall Guys Season 1 a fair amount, but I just never got back into Season 2. So I may have actually just missed out on season 2. But the awards themselves, The Last of Us did win a good few awards. I can't remember, but there was at least 3 or at least 4, I think. They did win Game of the Year, which kind of didn't surprise me, and especially after playing a little bit of Cyberpunk so far, which, yes, I have played about an hour or 2 of Cyberpunk so far. And I'm going to try to do a video for Saturday on the accessibility of that game. Not sure about doing a spotlight video, but I'll talk more about that in Saturday's video. But especially after playing Cyberpunk, really there is no doubt in my mind that for me personally, The Last of Us 2 is definitely going to be my game of the year. For accessibility, for story, just in general. I mean, the amount of care and just polish that is in that game as a game, mainstream game itself. But then the way they put all of the accessibility into it, my God, man. I mean, this is almost like a 25, 30 hour plus game. And I, other than like taking a break to get up and stretch and eat and sleep, I pretty much did nothing else that weekend. I played the hell out of it. I beat it in like 2.5 days. And I don't do that anymore. I do not binge that hard on a really long game like that anymore. So, yeah, there's no question that is my game of 2020. but it did win a lot of awards. But other games got represented. Hades got represented, which was great. I was glad to see Hades won some awards. Fall Guys got one. Mortal Kombat got Best Fighting Game. Mortal Kombat 11, the Ultimate Edition. So I was glad to see that, because that's a really fun game that the blindness community is in quite a bit involved in. Glad to see that. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 got their sports and racing category, so it beat out all the regular sports and Madden and all that kind of stuff games, which, again, that's awesome, because maybe we'll get a Tony Hawk 3 add-on for it. That would make me very happy. Maybe we'll get a new Tony Hawk game that doesn't suck. Maybe we'll get an actual totally new title that is not based on old content, old levels, and that won't be a complete train wreck like Tony Hawk 5 was. God, that game just still... thinking about that game. I'm sorry, but that game was just so bad. So I'm really glad to see that team turned it around, and they got an award as a result of it. So congratulations, kudos. But the award, of course, that I have to talk about, I showed you the jury page at the beginning of the video, but the Innovation in Accessibility Award. And interestingly enough, there was a little bit of irony here. So, throughout the show, Jeff was, teasing, oh, Reggie's going to be out there. Reggie Fils-Aimé he used to be the head of Nintendo of America. He retired last year? But he's still involved in games and doing some stuff. He's on some board for something. I forget what it is. But, he was there to present an award. And it just so happened to be the Innovation in Accessibility Award. Now, the irony is, I know he's not working for Nintendo anymore, so I'll give him a pass. But, he said his kind of standard line of, gaming is for everyone, and we want to make sure that things are inclusive, and which was cool. I love the sentiment. But the irony comes in, look at where Nintendo is for accessibility-wise. I mean, especially geared toward people with disabilities. Yes, they're accessible and friendly in the broad sense of, yeah, we have a few mature titles, but we have a lot of family-friendly games. They had the Wii and the Wii Sports and the Wii Fit, and then they have, just your kind of casual games that are easier for younger or newer players to pick up on. So they're friendly in that way. But as far as like actual accessibility, inclusive accessibility, especially people with disabilities, Nintendo, especially after the PS5 release and the Series X release, Nintendo is definitely way the furthest behind. So if they're going to announce I don't know, but there's, of course there's rumors that there's going to be some sort of a Switch Pro announcement and release next year. They's got a lot of catching up to do, because yes, I love the fact that they have a zoom on the Switch now. They have a light and a dark theme, but other than that, they do not have much in the way of accessibility at all. I mean, some of their games do, like the Golden Mushroom for the newer Mario games, where you really basically become invincible. There's a couple of like guidance and assistance things in Mario Odyssey. A few of their games have some of that. So in some ways, they do have like assists and things in some of their games, but like their platforms and stuff are definitely the furthest behind. But yeah, he did present the Innovation and Accessibility Award. So like I said, that's where sort of the irony to me came in. And I kind of chuckled as he was talking, because I'm like, that's kind of funny, considering where Nintendo is. But in that category, I was pretty sure it was going to win. But yes, The Last of Us 2 did win the Innovation in Accessibility Award. And to be honest with you, I'm glad it did. To me, there really could have been no other choice. I'm not holding anything against any of the other games that were nominated. I've played, I think, most, if not all of them. Hyperdot was in there. Shout out to those guys. I've covered that on the channel, and I couldn't nominate that one as a judge because I got to help out with it. I think, was it, no, let's see, was Spider-Man in there? I know Valhalla was. I think Watch Dogs Legion was. I can't remember what all the other ones were, but I mean, there were some great games. And like I said, I want to play the new version of Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales on the PS5 because they have some accessibility features that will make navigation in that game much, much easier than when I tried it on the PS4 here. So I've kind of put that game on the back burner, and I want to wait till I can get the new gen system, new gen version, and give it a shot. So, I mean, yes, I think the winner definitely would be The Last of Us Part 2, but that is not to take away from anything that these other developers have done. I mean, Hyperdot, like, you have one input controls, that's awesome. You have these open world games. They're not totally blind accessible, but they're quite low vision friendly now. They have text to speech in them. Just the game. There's just so many games that included accessibility features. And again, just a quick teaser. Saturday's video, Cyberpunk. Ooh. As much as I was looking forward to that game, little spoiler alert, but a little spoiler here, but I'm just going to say if you're low vision and you're really interested in Cyberpunk, maybe wait till you see Saturday's video before you choose to dive in, because I got to say some stuff about that game, and it might not all be good. So stay tuned for that. But yes, congratulations to all the games in the accessibility category. And Jeff even said that, hey, this is a first for the show, and going forward, we are going to have this category every year going forward. So very glad to see that. Glad to see more developers picking up on that. I wish a few more especially AAA companies, I wish they would. Not looking at anyone in particular, CD Projekt Red. But yeah, congratulations, guys. And thanks again for inviting me to be a jury member for that. I'd be glad to do it again in the future. I'd love to continue helping out with that. So definitely keep me in mind. So that is those are some main thoughts I have of the Game Awards 2020. But we have one more thing. This was like the, I think, third thing I think that they showed. They showed Sephiroth, they showed Perfect Dark, and then they showed a little game that I had a funny feeling they might show here. I was getting some vibes on a couple of YouTube channels and Twitter, but I really wasn't getting excited because, who knows, rumors are rumors until they happen. But a little game that we knew was in development, but we haven't heard diddly on really ever, except for the fact that it was announced. There happens to be a little game that is a spiritual successor to one of my favorite titles, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, especially 2. Back 4 Blood, Turtle Rock. Hey, Turtle Rock, if you're looking at game accessibility, hook me up, man. If you're looking to make your game more low vision accessible, reach out. I'm here. I'd love to help. But shout out to Turtle Rock because they unveiled a kind of like an overview story, like a unveil trailer and the first gameplay trailer and a release date, and that they are going to be having an alpha available sometime next week. So if I'm able to get my hands on Ye Alpha, damn Skippy, I'm going to try to take a look at that. So Back for Blood, we are going to actually watch the 2 trailers for Back for Blood because we are. Here we go. Here's the story one. As soon as I seen these like zombies, I'm like, oh shit, it can't be, right? Hordes of zombies. People shooting guns. And even just the sound effects, you can tell they almost sound like the Left 4 Dead zombies.
There's too many!
Stick together. We got a job to do. Remember?
And no worm-ridden son of a bitch is gonna stop us.
Yeah, Molotov that shit. There we go.
Lock her up, handsome.
Got melee weapons. Oh, I want this so bad.
Oh, what the hell? Cover me!
And I heard that there's supposed to be a lot more characters than just 4 this time, so you can pick.
What is that?
Tank kind of creature. I don't know if they're going to change what they're called. They probably have to for...
This is my favorite hoodie.
A little club soda will take that right out.
Watch out!
Yeah. Oh, that is one fugly looking dude. Kind of reminds me of like the opening cutscene that you get at the beginning of Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. But yeah, Back for Blood, son. And now we're going to dive right back into... Come on, load, quit being dumb. Now let's look at a little bit of gameplay because, yeah, and then I want to talk a little bit about it before we wrap up. Yes. I was so glad when they showed gameplay. Yes.
Ready?
Not one for speeches. So how about we just go kill some Rick?
Nice pep talk.
Ah, damn. Here we go!
And that's that guy that just talked. That's the guy apparently we are. He had a pistol. You can aim down sights now.
Watch out!
I don't see, the thing is, I don't see with your teammates. I don't see the silhouettes around them, which they gotta have. They better. Because that was extremely helpful. That was like a boomer guy. Exploder or something, I think. Some kind of electricity. Oh. Okay, that guy I'll talk about later. He's freaking ginormous. He makes a tank look small.
Cover me! Reloading! Thanks, Holly!
God, that's a big
Need to
bastard.
finish them off and fast.
This looks so fun.
Do these guys ever take a vacation?
Let's go.
Please, just die already!
Biggin.
Evangela, watch out!
Oh, that's gonna be not good. And now we're going to get a little gameplay montage. Oh, looks like a Charger guy. Fast for Blood. June 22nd, 2021. Yeah. So, I could see, having watched it twice now, it looked like you had a lot of your types of infected that were in the first two Left 4 Deads. You have your tank equivalent, your boomer, your charger. It looked like there might be, I don't know if there was like a spitter or a hunter type of thing, probably. But there seemed to be some new stuff too. There's like these really tall, lanky guys. Not quite sure what's up with them, but they definitely seem like there's some sort of special. And then I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're called, but there's these like ginormous freaking like golem guys that are like literally 2-3 stories tall. I mean, like bust through the wall or bust through, and he's like trying to chase you into that building, that hallway in the gameplay clip, and you're outside, and then he's trying to chase you inside. But I mean, he's literally like up to the roof he's up to the ceiling. Yeah, so like I said, if you're kind of a tanky-esque character, and then you have these big bastards, whatever they're going to be called. I'm curious to see what other types of infected there are, because I'm sure that was just a tease. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to go and try to find some videos either from Valve News Network, or I think I even saw that Wow Such Gaming might have a video up where he kind of did an analysis on the trailer, and I don't know if it's just the trailer or both regular trailer and gameplay trailer, but I'm going to watch that video after this before I go to bed, because I'm sure he spotted some things I didn't. And yeah, I mean, it looks good. It doesn't, like, visually, the graphics, yes, the graphics look better. I mean, they're going to look better. But it doesn't, it didn't seem like super crazy, like that it would be extremely hard to see. Now, again, this was just for, trailer's sake. So they were just showing everyone as they were. But what I did not notice, what I didn't see, is they didn't really show. And look, I wonder if I look back at like the Left 4 Dead trailers or gameplay trailers, I wonder if those had the character and item highlights, especially the character highlights, because that was the huge helpful thing with the Left 4 Dead games, is you had the colored outlines for blue is healthy, yellow is caution, and red is in danger. And you could see them through walls. You knew if they were down or not, if they were like being smokered or hunted. I'm hoping that it's just the trailer just didn't show that. But I would have to imagine, I mean, even like I said, Vermintide had that sort of thing. And you would think, Turtle Rock being the developers of the original, you would think they would have to put that in. They would have to. So I'm not worried about it yet, but like I said, especially if they're going to have an alpha next week, dang right, I'm going to try to at least watch some footage of it. If I can try to get my hands on it. I don't know if they're going to have bots in, or if it's just going to be multiplayer only at this point. So that'll kind of depend. But nevertheless, June 22nd is not that far away. Yes, it could get delayed, but I know they've been working on it for quite a while, and it looks like what they've shown, they've shown they've shown the regular game, like the story sort of the cinematic trailer, and the gameplay, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty polished. So it wouldn't surprise me if it indeed come out next summer. So, yeah, plan sick days around the 22nd, because I really, really just don't want it to be another Doom Eternal, and really look forward to that game and then just be just kind of crushed. I've had that happen a couple times this year. Doom Eternal, I like it, but things I didn't like about it, stuff that happened around it, and then Cyberpunk, I'm really looking forward to that. And there's some issues with that, which I'll talk about in the next video. But, yeah, 2020. Hopefully 2021 is better, and this is by far one of my most anticipated games for next year. So that about wraps it up for the Game Awards. Again, I talked longer than usual than I thought I would, but I wanted to cover kind of some of my highlights since I didn't get to stream it, and I had to actually watch again and show you guys the Back for Blood trailers. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like it if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and right here on YouTube. And till next time, I'll chat with you guys again later.